The end of Minecraft, a goal everyone reaches out to get to, but then doesn't offer much afterwards. And from the looks of things, many people in the community seem to be on board with this opinion. So today, I'll try to explain why Minecraft desperately needs an end update. Leave a like if you think we need an end update as well, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. So to start, I think it's best to talk about the last updates we've seen to the end, the 1.9 combat update and kind of the 1.11 exploration update. Personally, I feel like the 1.9 update set some really good foundations for a really good end update, improving the difficulty of obviously the dragon fight, adding in the end cages, making the dragon much harder, adding the dragon acid, and lots of other types of things like that to make this challenge much more difficult. And of course, after you defeat the dragon, what you then get is an opportunity to continue exploring with these things called the end gateways. So throwing one in will grant you a brand new part of the end in 1.9 known as the Ender Outer Islands, which basically links to other structures known as the End Cities. And on the way, you could actually harvest some of these things known as the Course Fruit, which actually allowed you to teleport around the end. But the main reason anyone would want to head out here to the Outer End Islands is for the End Cities. Not only to come out here to kill the Shulkers in order to get some Shulker shells to make Shulker boxes, but also to get one of Minecraft's greatest items they have ever added into the game, known as the Elytra. And of course, the insanely sized dragon head, which you could wear on your face. But apart from that, that's pretty much the only reasons why you would actually want to come out to the end as of right now. The rest of the end is just considered, desolate, apart from, again, some end cities and some other types of things like that. But everything else is pretty much empty. You're not going to find any other new thing or anything like that inside of this one dimension. Imagine you going to the moon, but occasionally you do find like some ancient alien structures or something like that. That's pretty much the best example I could think of when describing the end. It's pretty desolate, but you do occasionally find like one or two good things here, but not really for long-term effects, not really for coming back into this one dimension and exploring more and more things. But updating an entire dimension does seem like a pretty hefty task, which is why I'm going to lead the example of the Nether update as how to update a dimension correctly. And while I think the Nether could still use some updates here and there, I think most of us can agree that it is much more fleshed out than the end. Not only does it have its own biomes inside this dimension, not only does it have its own specific mobs, and a lot of them in this own dimension, but it also gives you a reason to consistently come back here inside this one dimension, as well as plenty of different types of structures such as the Bastion Remnant, the Nether Fortress, and occasionally Nether Ruin portals. And just to give you an idea as to how fleshed out the Nether really is, what I've done is I placed down every single block you can only obtain inside the Nether. I've excluded things such as Netherrack and other types of things like that because you could find them inside of ruin portals, but yeah, for the most part, you can get a pretty good idea as to how fleshed out the Nether is with so many different types of blocks here. Comparing that to the amount of things you can find the end is pretty obscure, because you can see these are all the unique things you could find inside the end, compared to the Nether with its obscure amounts of different types of things. The end is seriously lacking. So if Mojang were to update the end, I think they should really take some inspiration for what they did inside of the Nether, add more types of end biomes, add more end structures, and add more of a reason to come back to this dimension other than an Enderman grinder or something like that. So let's all hope that 1.19 is the update the end not only deserves, but desperately needs to make it a much more viable and interesting dimension to come to. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.